What's good, y'all? As you know, the Giants already played their preseason game against the Lions. There's some good takeaways and some bad takeaways, but one of the main things that are pointing out to me is that the Giants might have two stud cornerbacks for the future already set in place, and they both happen to be rookies. Today we're going to be talking about Deontay Banks coming out of Maryland and also Trey Hawkins coming out Old Dominion, man. One of them was a first-round pick, one of them was a sixth-round pick. Both completely different rounds, very distant from each other, but they're both looking like they're looking good during practices and also during the game. So we'll be diving into that shortly. If you haven't already, subscribe down below. Road to 10K is active, man. Join the Juke family. Comment down below your thoughts and let's dive straight into it. The Giants selected Deontay Banks with the 24th overall pick. They actually traded up one pick ahead to go get him. And you can see the traits why they wanted him and why it's already translating to this day. Deontay Banks was known for locking down receivers in college. One of his biggest performances was against Marvin Harrison Jr. And Deontay Banks ran a 4.3 40 at the combine, showing that he has elite speed. Athletically, Deontay Banks was one of the top scored athletes in the draft in general, as well as the cornerback position. So you definitely see it translating on the field when it comes to the practices and in the games now. And I'll show a couple of highlights from the Lions game in general. He was definitely locking down receivers. And one of the plays I really want to point into is he almost ran this route for this wide receiver. Wide receiver ended up running like a 10 to 12 yard comeback. And Deontay Banks literally matched him step for step and also broke to the football the same way he did. You know, the quarterback is lucky. Obviously, he didn't throw it in that direction because a lot of times in the NFL, you'll see they'll trust their guy and throw it to them right out of the break. Deontay Banks was all over that. But not only that, right after he breaks into that, the ball's not thrown to him, it's thrown in the flats to the tight end, and he goes up and makes a tackle. Deontay Banks is not scared to stick his nose in whatever is going on. You know, a lot of cornerbacks, you know, there's a lot of ones that are good in coverage, but sometimes they don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to get their nose dirty and go in to make that tackle. Some people just don't know how to tackle. Deontay Banks looks like the opposite of that. He has the speed, he has the measurables, and he also wants to go ahead and be physical and get people to the ground. That's the best thing a cornerback can be, is not only can you guard the wide receiver position and match them route for route, but also being able to come up and stop the run. That's exactly what you need. And for Deontay Banks, you know, that kind of was a little bit of his weakness coming into the NFL season. We'll see if they teach him on that. Let's see if he changes. But all I know is he stood up against a big tight end and didn't do anything. Squared him up, brought him to the ground. That's exactly what we need. Another play I wanted to touch on with Deontay Banks is that play with Jameson Williams that we've been talking about ever since the game. You know, Deontay Banks was covering Jameson Williams as he ran a crosser across the field and he took a deep shot. And in my opinion, Jameson Williams dropped it. You know, there's been a lot of people circulating talking about Deontay Banks put his arms draped all over him. In my opinion, he dropped it. I'll let the play right now. As you see, Jameson Williams is going across the field. Deontay Banks is in coverage, and I'll give you this, he's step for step. But when the ball gets delivered, the ball hits Jameson Williams right in his hands away from the defender. If that's a regular, I'm talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, if that's a top wide receiver in this league, and I know not everybody is, that ball is going to be caught. What ends up happening is he drops it, he fumbles it, and then Deontay Banks is draped over Jameson Williams and gets the stop that is needed. So I'll give Deontay Banks this. He was step for step with the wide receiver, but a lot of the times there also is a lot of tight windows in this league. That's the main difference between college and the NFL. No guy is running wide open. People are going to be all over you, and you got to be able to make those contested catches. But if that's a really good receiver, he's coming down with that ball. But I'll still give Deontay Banks his credit. And once again, there's no other better celebration for a cornerback than when the ball is either overthrown or the ball is bobbled and dropped. We're going to celebrate any incompletion anyways. So I'm still leaving this game excited for the future for Deontay Banks because he definitely showed he played pretty well. When it came to the practices, he did struggle a bit, but something that we have to understand is in these one-on-one drills, the wide receiver has all the leverage that he can possibly have. You know, being able to guard a wide receiver on any route that he'll run and be able to stick with him is extremely tough. He struggled with that early on, but I definitely think when it comes to in-game, he can stick on receivers, and we're going to see in these next two preseason games, and he's obviously going to get run at the quarterback position in the season. But he might be challenged by somebody in the 6th round of the same draft class. When we talk about Trey Hawkins now, Trey Hawkins out of Old Dominion, he has all the size and also he has the same speed that almost Deontay Banks has too. He ran a 4.4 on the 40-yard dash, so he definitely has that speed. He's 6'1", 6'2", has the size, and also plays extremely physical. When I talked about Deontay Banks bringing guys to the ground, Trey Hawkins, you can see he's going with bad intent. Slinging guys around, making sure they go backwards, that no guy is going to run forward on him. and drive him a couple yards. You know, he's extremely physical, and that's what I love to see in a corner once again. And in this system, this is exactly what we need. When it comes to Wink Martindale's system, the corners are put on an island. They're going to be playing a lot of man, but then also if there's any guy that's out there, you know, everybody's mainly in the box. You're going to have linebackers blitzing left and right. You're going to need to make those tackles, and Trey Hawkins has shown that, especially in the Lions game. You've seen him sling around a couple guys. A lot of the times the catches that were allowed on him, which he allowed 3 catches, was him 10 yards off of the ball. They ran a little dig route, and then Trey Hawkins would come up and make that tackle, and no yardage is gained after that. So that's definitely something I'm intrigued by. I'm going to show a couple of the clips now. Looking at a couple of the clips, you can see that he's plastered as well. You know, once again, Trey Hawkins coming in the 6th round. The expectations were not high for this man. You know, he did show some weaknesses coming into this draft in terms of being able to identify where the ball is going when it comes to the top of a route. Try not to panic when the ball's in the air, and then also breaking on these routes. That was some of the weaknesses, but all you've seen in camp and so far in this game, you've seen him guard receivers left and right. You've seen him make plays, break on the ball, break up passes. You've seen all this going on during training camp, and that's what got the buzz and making everyone excited for Trey Hawkins. Coming into the draft, they expected this player to at least be maybe on the practice squad if they even make the team. Now Trey Hawkins is low-key almost pushing the agenda to at least start him. Do I think the Giants will start him? No. They're going to start Deontay Banks. They're going to start Adoree Jackson. But they even messed around and had Adoree Jackson in the slot while playing both of them on the outside. Listen, I touched on this on my last video. This is a great problem to have because the Giants haven't had a problem like this in a while, where you have 2 cornerbacks that are going against each other, going ahead and make each other better. And once again, these are young cornerbacks that can still continue to develop into something greater. Deontay Banks, once again, I think if he continues to level up, he's going to be a great corner in this league one day, and he has all the tools, all the traits that we want from him. And then Trey Hawkins, a little late round gem. If he can even be a solid role player for us, that's a W, because finding a player like that in the 6th round is not easy, as well as at the cornerback position, one of the hardest positions in the league. It's not easy getting a player like that. So Trey Hawkins, keep doing your thing. Deontay Banks, keep doing your thing. And I'm excited to see what the Giants' future is with these 2 cornerbacks, because once again, we might have a tandem that's coming soon to the NFL. I hope this year, but if not this year, you might see Adoree Jackson not be signed back next year, and they're going to run it back with Trey Hawkins and Deontay Banks. Still early on. I understand people are going to tell me to pump my brakes, but listen, I liked what I saw in the Lions game. I like what I've seen in practice so far, so I'm going to address it. And hopefully moving forward, man, we see a lot of more improvements on both sides. But you guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments, man. Like the video, subscribe. Also, Road to 10K is active, man. You guys let me know who you guys are more excited for to watch. Hey, John Michael Schmitz, I forgot to say in my last video, he's been proven well as well. The 2nd round pick from this previous draft. And I'm just glad we have a good interior lineman in general, because for the last years we haven't. And at the center position, the head of the position for the lineman, he's looking good. So I might have a video coming out on him shortly, but make sure you stay tuned for that. If you haven't seen my other videos, I got more videos to the left right here, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.